Today is December the 3rd, Tuesday, 2019, a day that will live in infamy. Well, not really. But today, the House Democrats released their 300-page impeachment report that lays out an indisputable case that Donald Trump abused his power by trying to get Ukraine to help this miserable son of a bitch in the next election coming up next November. The report said that Trump, quote, placed his own personal and political interests above the national interests of the United States, seeking to undermine American democracy and endangering national security. In other words, the report said something that we know. This just formalizes the reality that Trump has displayed every single day that the prick has been in office. He is incompetent. He is a gangster. He's incapable of leadership. And he's a thug. The document was drawn up by the House Intelligence Committee, as you know, because the Intelligence Committee has led the inquiry into Trump's dealings with Ukraine. Everything that we've heard from all this testimony from the House Intelligence Committee was all preamble or preface to actual impeachment. The impeachment has to come from the request for impeachment has to come from the judicial committee. Judicial. Come on, Mike. The judicial committee, or is it judiciary committee? Jesus, my mind is turning into impeachment putty. And therefore, what has been gathered up by the Intelligence Committee through all of these hearings, both private and public, all the investigations, all the testimony, everything that we have been privy to through television, and certain aspects of it that we were not, classified stuff, it all comes together now into this final report, the impeachment report. 300-page impeachment report. Now, last night, that was released to the public today, but last night, the House Republicans, these thuggish little pricks, pre-released their report that completely exonerates Trump of everything that he has done, every crime he has committed since he has been president. This blows my shit completely away. Because the Republican report from the same committee, the House Intelligence Committee, the Republican report totally and completely exonerates Trump of any wrongdoing, no matter the testimony, no matter the witnesses, no matter the evidence, no matter any of it, no matter the fact that Trump is the biggest fucking liar ever to hold the office of presidency, and possibly the biggest liar in the history of the human species. This son of a bitch can't open his mouth without lying. And yet the Republicans, for what reason? This is the part that completely blows me away. What do they have to gain by all the shenanigans, all the bullshit they put out there, whether it's by this little asshole Devin Nunes or this student molesting protection freak Jim Jordan? What is it they have to gain by issuing this report that says, our beloved leader is not guilty of anything? Everything you heard, Mr. and Miss America, was all lies, conjecture, secondhand information, hearsay, none of it worth the powder to blow it to hell. I've said for the past 20, 25 years that I thought the Republican Party was the party of morons, shitheads, religious nuts, racists, Nazis. But I never thought, I mean, I always thought that was true, but I never thought it was populated by people who had zero, or if it's possible, a minus number, where it concerned respect for the Constitution to which these dirty little fuckers swore an oath. I don't get it. Now, just briefly, because by the time you get to listen to this program, I'm sure you will have heard political experts take the inquiry report, the impeachment inquiry report apart, nail by nail, and really examined it, which I'm not going to do here. I don't have the time, and I don't want to bore you, because like I say, by the time you hear this, you will know just about everything there is to know. So let me just kind of encapsulate. The document outlined more than 2 months of all this public and private testimony from diplomats, Trump administration officials, oh my God, who together, through all this testimony, described a campaign by Trump and his gangster allies to pressure Ukraine for, not for investigations of Donald Trump, but for the announcement of an investigation. See, the Ukrainians, I don't know if you're aware of this, and I only recently became aware of it, the Ukrainians were never asked to investigate the Bidens, and they never would have. They've got a brand new country. This is like the United States in 1777 being asked to investigate Brazil. All the Trump gangster wanted was an announcement that an investigation was coming. And on that, Trump and his little prick-a-mouse allies like Sean Hannity and Lou Dobbs would have immediately gone on their respective little sewer television outlets and started screeching about, an investigation, even when there was none. All Trump and this gangster little rat fucker Giuliani, all they wanted was an announcement of an investigation. Because the people who follow Trump, the Christians, the Make America Great Again collection of half-wits and morons, all they want to hear is their delightful, delicious, lovely leader, Donald Trump, telling them, see, there was an announcement. And the Bidens are guilty of something horrible. Of course, the announcement of an investigation, or even an investigation itself, would have turned up zero, zilch. But the only reason it turned up zero, the Trump followers would be quick to say, was because the deep state hid everything. This country is totally broken. You understand that, right? There is no fucking way to heal the rifts that have been developing for 35 years and were brought to this horrible climax by this thug bastard Donald Trump. The country is broken. We are not one nation with liberty and justice for all. We're not. Now, I've been thinking about this for a long time. I've even talked about it over the years. How soon before we become the Federated States of America? We are not the United States of America. Trump is the one who plunged the dagger into the heart of this union. It's been threatened before. I mean, there have been times that seemed horrifically evident that the United States was over. If you go back to 1967, with all the riots, the urban riots, 68 with more riots and assassinations of Kennedy and King. 69, more of the same. The country absolutely fractured over the Vietnam war crime that we were committing. The re-election of the Nazi lying pig Richard Nixon. Then the evidence of Watergate. I mean, let's face it, back in 68, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, there was a 5-year period there where anyone paying close attention, and you weren't, and neither was I. Come on, that was 50 years ago. We weren't paying attention to this horse shit back then. But anyone paying attention who wasn't afraid of speaking out would have been hard-pressed not to say, it's over. The Union is over. And then, of course, we had the Civil War. And we had the Sedition Act. And we had this, and we had that. We had the horrible race murders in this country. We had the riots that wiped out entire sections of cities where black people lived. I'm talking about the turn of the century, the 20th century, not the 21st, and the early 20th century, 1910, 1920, 1930, the Great Depression, when those soldiers who were promised their bonus for fighting in World War I were denied the bonus, and the Depression was on this country. And they marched on Washington. And the president at the time summoned the military. And we came very close to having the military open fire, as we have seen in fascist countries over the past 40 years. Open fire on American veterans who were only asking for what they had been promised. So we have been in situations like this before, but never have we been in a situation where we had a demagogue. No, that's bullshit. Where we had a gangster, an absolute ignorant fucking gangster, somebody as ignorant in the way things work other than crime as John Gotti, Albert Anastasia, Joey Gallo, Donald Trump. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.